Shen Yu never thought about how to live his life before. He never cared about when he'd die or how much time he'd have in the world of living. For now, he enjoys the company of a good friend, as he partakes in the delicacies beyond Shixi's mystery suitor sent them. Some time later, Shen Yu went out of the royal palace and went straight to the Song Qing's mansion, who was promoted a chief commander of the palace guards. A servant promptly greeted Shen Yu and told him that Song Qing was home. Shen Yu did not expect that he'll be recognized by the guards, and that Song Qing would meet him directly and expediently. If Shen Yu had other places to go, he wouldn't dream of asking Song Qing for help, probably because Song Qing is Jun Su Angsho's right-hand man. He was surprised by someone's excited exclamation. Aside from Beyond Shixi, there is only one other person who calls him Beauty. The actor of Qinhu Eye Temple approached Shen Yu with Song Qing beside him. Hong Lian asked Shen Yu what he came here for. Shen Yu was surprised to find Hong Lian in Song Qing's mansion. Shen Yu's expressive face clearly shows his surprise as Hong Lian explains that he came to the capital with Song Qing. Hong Lian sauntered over to Shen Yu's side to sweetly ask if Shen Yu missed him. Song Qing quickly chastised Hong Lian for behaving wantonly. Song Qing knew that this was not a social visit and solemnly asked Shen Yu why he would come to see him. Hong Lian rolled his eyes and remarked that Song Qing was such a party pooper. Shen Yu told them that he came here to ask for help. He wanted to visit his mother's tomb to pray, but it was in the imperial mausoleum in the western suburbs. Shen Yu does not know where it is, nor does he have the means to go there. Song Qing's eyes became shifty. He reminded Shen Yu that the commander promised Shen Yu that he would take him to his mother's tomb once Shen Yu's condition improved. He tells Shen Yu that the commander truly cares for him. When Shen Yu was unconscious, a group of Confucian scholars led by the chief of the Imperial Board of Astronomy went to beg Jun Su Anxiao to burn Shen Yu to death. They claim that Shen Yu is a danger to the kingdom. This kind of people are delulu. To burn someone at the stake just because the stars look weird is just crazy. The commander did not listen to their pleas and used his sword to strike down the chief. The rest of those scholars will think twice before asking to burn someone at the stake. Song Qing tells Shen Yu that the commander did all that to protect Shen Yu. But Shen Yu does not want to hear it. He cut off Song Qing's narrative and asked if the commander was here. He was surprised by the commander's voice calling for him from behind. His voice alone can make Shen Yu shiver. Song Qing greeted the commander as decorum dictates. Jun Su Anxiao strode casually to Shen Yu, who swiftly turned around to leave. The commander grabbed his arm to stop him and pulled him back. At close proximity, Jun Su Anxiao asked Shen Yu why he'd leave so soon. He reminded Shen Yu that although he allowed him to leave the palace freely, he did not allow Shen Yu to come to this mansion. He circled his hand around Shen Yu's waist and pulled him closer. Shen Yu was struck motionless as he nervously anticipated what Jun Su Anxiao wanted to do. His fear was replaced with relief and happiness when the commander told him that he would arrange a carriage to bring Shen Yu to his mother's grave. But Shen Yu's relief was short-lived when Jun Su Anxiao whispered in Shen Yu's ears that Shen Yu would belong to him for a lifetime. After the visit, Shen Yu looked at him in disappointment. For a minute, Shen Yu entertained the thought that Jun Su Anxiao must care about him. But all the brute commander only cares about is pleasing himself. The commander ordered Song Qing to bring them a carriage, to which the man obeyed. Shen Yu pulled back the hand being held by Jun Su Anxiao as he faced Song Qing. The commander stood ignored to the side. Shen Yu told Song Qing that he would rather not bother him as he understood that the task might be inconvenient for him. He will pray for his mother at home instead. His aloofness annoyed Jun Su Anxiao as he tried to get Shen Yu's attention back to him. Shen Yu turned his back to Jun Su Anxiao as he told him that he did not want to be bothered by him within the agreed 3 months. In the previous video, Jun Su Anxiao agreed to Shen Yu's condition of not touching him for 3 months and to allow Shen Yu to come and go as he pleases. Jun Su Anxiao tried to hold back his anger as he asked Shen Yu what else he wanted and made a deal out of Shen Yu not wanting to spend time with him. The spectators, Song Qing and Hong Lian, stood awkwardly to the side, waiting for the volcano that is Jun Su Anxiao to erupt. Shen Yu did not answer him. To everyone's surprise, Jun Su Anxiao let the matter go and angrily stomped off. He ordered Song Qing to accompany Shen Yu. His loyal guard obeyed. Once he left, Hong Lian volunteered to come so that he could hang out with Shen Yu. The three took their leave with Hong Lian attached to Shen Yu's side. After visiting his mother's grave, Shen Yu went back to the palace. His heart feels lighter after paying his respects to his deceased mother. From the shadows, a figure grabbed Shen Yu from behind and slammed him against the wall. The stench of alcohol permeated Shen Yu's nostrils as he struggled against his captor. His body is trapped between his captor's arms and the wall. Who could it be? A voice calls his name. It's none other than Jun Xuanxiao. The commander called his name as he leaned in for a kiss. Jun Xuanxiao lowered his head as he whispered an apology to Shen Yu. Did the commander finally repent? Jun Xuanxiao hugged Shen Yu as he apologized over and over, but Shen Yu was fed up with him. He tried to push off the drunk commander. He wondered what Jun Xuanxiao was apologizing for. Angry at being pushed off, Jun Xuanxiao prevented Shen Yu from escaping as the smaller man struggled. Pinning Shen Yu against the wall, Shen Yu realized that the man had not changed one bit. He's only apologizing out of guilt. Shen Yu stopped struggling as he stared up angrily at Jun Xuanxiao. Feeling Shen Yu's cold anger, the commander paused and took a step back. Shen Yu turned his back at Jun Xuanxiao, while the latter called out to stop him. Pitifully, Jun Xuanxiao asked if Shen Yu was angry at him. He told Shen Yu that he had been waiting for a long time for him. He asked where Shen Yu went and what he did while rubbing himself on Shen Yu. Shen Yu stepped back to avoid his advances and told him that he simply went out to visit his mother's grave. He refused to give Jun Xuanxiao any further details as it is no one's business what he does. Jun Xuanxiao insisted on knowing what Shen Yu did, as he was worried while waiting for him. The thought that Shen Yu may not come back haunted him. Shen Yu felt no pity for him. He knows that Jun Xuanxiao will find him even if he attempts to run away. He knows that Jun Xuanxiao knows this, too. The commander clenched his fist. Shen Yu looked at him, then averted his gaze as he let out a sigh. He knows that the commander can hold his liquor well. There's no way that he'd get drunk enough to spew out an apology. Shen Yu does not buy his drunk confession trick. Frustrated that his tactics in winning Shen Yu's heart are not working, the commander's expression became sober. There's no doubt that he'd only been pretending. He tried again to get Shen Yu to believe him, but Shen Yu asked to be left alone and there was nothing important Jun Xuanxiao wanted to say. He does not want their interaction to ruin his good mood. Shen Yu turned away from him. In the previous chapters, it is Jun Xuanxiao who keeps on turning his back on Shen Yu. Now he's getting a taste of how hurtful it was for Shen Yu. Shen Yu walked towards his desk and picked up a book. Jun Xuanxiao saw this as an opportunity to reconnect with him. He enthusiastically told Shen Yu that they could read it together. He reminisced of the time when Shen Yu learned to read and write in his arms. He even sat at the low table and offered to answer Shen Yu's questions. Shen Yu grew so smart that he no longer needed you to teach him anything. He remembered when Shen Yu learned how to write their names. He remembers how Shen Yu's eyes shone with delight when he saw both their names written side by side on a piece of paper. Shen Yu does not need this reminder. He pressed his lips in annoyance. He remembers how a single bit of attention could make his heart soar with joy that he forgets himself. Looking back, he was so naive and so easy to please. Jun Xuanxiao promised to take Shen Yu to the biggest stable in the capital. He even told Shen Yu that he would teach him how to ride a horse. Finally, fed up with the commander, Shen Yu snapped his book closed. Shen Yu told Jun Xuanxiao that he does remember everything and commended Jun Xuanxiao for manipulating Shen Yu's feelings. He made Shen Yu fall for him and treated him kindly just to learn the location of the Junshan mausoleum. Jun Xuanxiao was shocked at the allegations. He realizes that Shen Yu believes that he is only kind to him just to trick him. The commander angrily stared down at Shen Yu and insisted on ignoring him by opening the book. He stood up in anger and pointed out that he could have chosen another option rather than giving Shen Yu his heart. Shen Yu tensed as he heard this but did not look up. Jun Xuanxiao asked him if he really felt nothing from Jun Xuanxiao's care and love. He even asked why Shen Yu was being cruel to him. This level of cruelty is far from the cruelty you demonstrated, and you had the gall to call Shen Yu cruel? Jun Xuanxiao dramatically asked if he should take out his own heart just to prove to Shen Yu he loves him. Losing his patience, he grabbed Shen Yu's arm and brought him up. He insisted on knowing what Shen Yu did and why it took him so long to come home. Shen Yu answered that what he did was not his business. Finally reaching the limit of his anger, Jun Xuanxiao grabbed Shen Yu to intimidate him. Shen Yu looked at him unfazed. Knowing that he won't get an answer, the commander throws him down, even telling him that Shen Yu asked for it. Like a child who did not get what he wanted, the commander stomped off. He turned around just to impart words of threats. Now that Shen Yu has broken his heart, he can't be blamed for being cruel. At the palace where the commander of the North resides, he sat mullishly on his throne. The servants were scared shitless due to his foul mood. Jun Xuanxiao mulled over his recent interaction with Shen Yu, his concubine's rejection playing in his mind over and over again. He pounded his fist on the desk beside him as he angrily exclaimed how ungrateful Shen Yu had been. The maids cowered in fear and bowed as low as they could to the floor. The maids do not know if they should serve him tea to calm him down, but no one dares to move in fear of being killed if they annoy the commander. Suddenly, a brave voice is heard. The one who told Jun Su-an-shou to calm down as being angry is not good for his health. The maids raised their heads, surprised at the one who spoke up. The woman, dressed as a maid, approached Jun Su-an-shou with a tray with a bowl of soup in her hands. She offered the soup she made from the kitchen. She asked Jun Su-an-shou to have a sip while it was hot. This is no ordinary maid. This is Shen Rufei, the magistrate's daughter whom Shen Yu replaced as a bride. Rufei wondered if the commander recognized her. She thinks to herself that had she known that this man would someday conquer Dajing, she would have married him herself. But alas, it is the dumb mute who is reaping the benefits. Luckily, she was not taken away by Emperor Yi's men. If the commander takes the throne and proclaims himself emperor, she must take this opportunity to someday become the empress. Jun Su-an-shou looked her up from head to toe. She took a step back and sweetly asked the commander if he was tired, even boldly offering to give him a massage to help him relax. Jun Su-an-shou remarked on her boldness and for daring to come close to him. Rufei felt fear at the thought that he made the commander angry. When asked who she was, she knelt in front of him and introduced herself as Shen Rufei. A concubine of Emperor, yeah. She, however, denied ever serving the emperor and even told Jun Su-an-shou that the emperor spent most of his time with Shen Yu. She hinted that the emperor never looked at other concubines when Shen Yu came. Upon realizing that Shen Yu and Emperor Ye spent time together at night, Jun Su-an-shou's irrational jealousy was ignited. Rufei continued that she gave up on winning the emperor's favor and now only wishes to serve Jun Su-an-shou as a maid. Jun Su-an-shou's attention was not full on her. Coming around from his thoughts of Shen Yu, he told the maids to leave. Relieved at finally being dismissed, the maids quickly obeyed him. Rufei kept glancing back at Jun Su-an-shou as she left. Jun Su-an-shou knew exactly what she wanted. All she wanted was to gain status in the palace. A plan formed in his mind as he watched the fearless woman. He had another use for her. He'll use her to win Shen Yu back. Shen Yu spent his days away from Jun Su-an-shou. He was surprised by the sudden festive atmosphere as servants decorated the palace with lanterns. Shen Yu asked Hong Liyan what the servants were doing. Surprised, Hong Liyan commented that Shen Yu is indeed unaware of what's going on around him. Everyone knows that the commander will marry another concubine. Hong Liyan leaned in to ask Shen Yu if he knew who the new concubine was. Unbothered by the news, Shen Yu shook his head as he calmly drank his tea. Hong Liyan was unnerved by Shen Yu's calmness. He told Shen Yu that the wedding was tomorrow and the bride was none other than Shen Rufei, whom Shen Yu once replaced as Jun Su-an-shou's bride. To his surprise, Shen Yu dropped the cup of tea he was holding. Hong Liyan took a step back, saving himself from the spilled drink. Shen Yu thinks to himself that the commander is simply getting back at him for not accepting the commander's apology and for being indifferent. Shen Yu hid his eyes with his bangs as he remembered how the commander insisted that he loved Shen Yu. Just because he did not get what he wanted, he did this ridiculous thing. Hong Liyan complained that his clothes would have been wet if he were not quick enough to dodge. He remembered what he had come to see Shen Yu for. He is here to return something to Shen Yu. Shen Yu was surprised at what Hong Liyan held in his hand. It was the jade pendant. Hong Liyan told Shen Yu that the princess consort used the stolen pendant to trick Shen Yu, so he ordered his men to find it. He was about to give it to Shen Yu, but they were separated when Shen Yu was kidnapped from Qin Huai Tower. Shen Yu carefully held the jade pendant in his hand. Back when he had the pendant, he never thought that his love would turn into bitterness and hate. With this in mind, he resolved to return the pendant back to Jun Su-an-shou. The pendant reminded Shen Yu of all the sweet moments he spent with Jun Su-an-shou. Those few sweet moments are like a dream to Shen Yu. But dreams are just that, dreams. People can't stay in a dream forever. Shen Yu stood up and rummaged through his belongings until he found what he was looking for. Hong Liyan worriedly followed him. He asked what Shen Yu was doing. A purple box lay innocently at Shen Yu's desk. Shen Yu faced Hong Liyan and told him that now that Jun Su-an-shou is getting married, he must give him a gift. He will give the commander an unforgettable wedding gift. The palace is tastefully decorated, but the atmosphere is not at all festive. Jun Su-an-shou entered his mansion and was surprised that there were many servants waiting for his return. One servant reminded him that today was his wedding day with concubine Shen. Confused, the commander asked if he meant Shen Yu. The servant clarified that he was to marry his new concubine. Shen Rufei. So he forgot. It's his wedding day. The servant bowed low as he explained that concubine Shen sent many servants to find the commander. He arrived so late that he missed the most auspicious time to hold the ceremony. The sun set long ago and she is now waiting for him in his bedroom. Jun Suan Xiao does not care about the most auspicious time or about getting married at all. All he cared about was that it was over. He did not intend to marry her in the first place. He used her to lure Shen Yu to come to him. The only reason he is marrying her is to make Shen Yu realize he still loves him and beg him to not marry Shen Rufei. Ha! As if Shen Yu would come crawling back to you. If only Shen Yu would show up and even show the slightest hint of jealousy, you would stop the wedding. Jun Suan Xiao looked around for any sign of Shen Yu. The servant tried to draw Jun Suan Xiao's attention, but the commander's mind was busy processing that Shen Yu did not come to see him. He finally thought to consider the possibility that Shen Yu must be extremely disappointed in him. Took you long enough. Jun Suan Xiao entered his bedchamber where his new bride awaits. Gloomily, he stands in front of his bride but is too upset to approach her. Rufei called out to him and seductively told him that even though they did not have a wedding ceremony, they should not miss out on their wedding night. Shen Rufei eagerly wanted the wedding night to happen. As long as she can bear him children, her status will be secured. The mute slave can never be above her. Jun Suan Xiao's head is currently in La La Land. The once dumb and lecherous commander of the North is not tempted by the beauty in front of him. He's brought to the present by Rufei's alluring invitation to come join her in bed. Without any thoughts for her feelings, Jun Suan Xiao turned around and announced that he is leaving. That is so insulting. Jun Suan Xiao found it pointless to marry Rufei since Shen Yu did not even show up. Rufei called out to the commander and removed her veil in her last bid to seduce him. But her calls were for naught as she realized that the room was empty. She sat alone in the big room, like a discarded tool. Shen Rufei shook in anger as she endured the insult. How could a man resist his bride on their wedding night? Jun Suan Xiao returned to the banquet and took this opportunity to gain connections. It won't hurt to win over the officials. As the would-be emperor, he needed their help in ruling Dajing. As officials congratulated him and showered him with praises to gain his favor, he felt a bit of discontent and sadness. He drank jars of wine while trying to figure out why Shen Yu did not show any interest in his wedding. He drowned his sorrow in wine until he got himself piss-drunk. A servant even had to help him return to his pavilion when the banquet was over. As he wobbled in his steps, his mind was still on Shen Yu. He wonders if Shen Yu wants him to compromise. He pulls on his collar, exposing his chest as he asks himself, when had he ever fawned on anyone like this? His thoughts and steps were put to a halt at the sight of the person that he had been waiting for to show up. Illuminated by the warm glow of the lanterns, Shen Yu stood in front of him carrying in his hands a box. Jun Suan Xiao came alive at the sight of Shen Yu. He can't believe his eyes. Shen Yu did not respond and just calmly looked at him. Jun Suan Xiao pushed aside the poor servant, helping him as he staggered to approach Shen Yu. He exclaimed happily at seeing him come, taking this as a sign of Shen Yu still caring for him. But before he could close the distance between them, Shen Yu avoided his touch. Disappointed at Shen Yu's coldness, he watched as Shen Yu gestured in sign language. He came to congratulate Jun Suan Xiao on his wedding and even expressed his well wishes for his happiness. This angered Jun Suan Xiao, not believing that Shen Yu only came to congratulate him. It did not go in the direction you wanted, didn't it? Unfazed by the face of Jun Suan Xiao's anger, Shen Yu told him that he also came to give him a gift. He showed him the wooden box in his hands to show the commander his sincere wishes for the wedded couple's happiness. Jun Suan Xiao looked at the gift, the hurt clearly showing on his face. But they are both unrelenting and holding their ground. When Jun Suan Xiao made no attempt to receive the gift, Shen Yu sighed as he reached out to his hand and placed the box in Jun Suan Xiao's hand. Scathingly, Shen Yu told him that he hoped that the gift was good enough for Jun Suan Xiao. Shen Yu learned how to be petty. He encouraged Jun Suan Xiao to open the box so that he could see Shen Yu's goodwill. Jun Suan Xiao does not know what Shen Yu is up to but opens the box anyway. With a click, the box opened. When Jun Suan Xiao saw the contents, his blood boiled over and he dropped the box and its contents. The jade pendant fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. He gnashed his teeth in anger and coldly asked Shen Yu what he meant by returning the pendant that Jun Suan Xiao once gave him. Jun Suan Xiao accused Shen Yu of trying to get even with him. Shen Yu did not dignify the question with a response. They stood in silence as silently gauged each other. Shen Yu knelt down and picked up the pieces of the jade pendant. Once all the pieces were in his hands, He stepped closer to Jun Suanshao and put the pieces back into the commander's hand. Jun Suanshao watched him silently as he closed his fist around the broken shards. Shen Yu explained that he is only returning what belongs to the commander. Now that Jun Suanshao destroyed both the dice and the pendant, they are even. This is so satisfying. Jun Suanshao was stunned. He remembers how Shen Yu cried his heart out over the shards of the broken dice. The sound of his cries will haunt him forever. His head tilted down. He looked remorseful, but he said no words of apology. Shen Yu continued that Jun Suanshao must have already forgotten about the dice, so they could just forget about it since it's already broken. Shen Yu bowed respectfully to the commander and proceeded to leave, but Jun Suanshao did not let him. He followed Shen Yu while angrily telling him that he couldn't just break up with him. He won't let him. But his words were interrupted by Shen Rufei, who came to see him. She asked Jun Suanshao what he was doing outside. Acting like a sweet, caring wife, Rufei explained that she went out when she heard a noise. Fearing that Jun Suanshao must have gotten drunk and hurt himself, she went out to find him. She gave an excuse that she did not expect Shen Yu to be with the commander. But the truth is, she has been listening to them talk. Upon seeing the commander is on the verge of confessing his feelings for Shen Yu, she interrupts them at the right time to stop them from making up. She asked if the thing that Jun Suanshao was holding in his hand was Shen Yu's gift and sweetly thanked Shen Yu. She told Shen Yu that she wanted to invite him to the wedding for a drink, but thought better of it as she thought that Shen Yu might be too shy to show up. She did not expect that Shen Yu would come without an invitation. Shen Yu saw through the veiled insult. Rufei wanted to point out that Shen Yu is shameless in coming to see the groom on his wedding night. Shen Yu decided to throw politeness to the wind and told Rufei that he had come to congratulate the newcomer. She should get used to it, for it's only a matter of time before another one comes to join them. Shen Yu's getting better at this. I love the pettiness. Rufei internally fumed as she realized that Shen Yu was cursing her. She pretends not to understand what Shen Yu is saying and asks if she upset him. When told to stop, she feigned tears and asked if Shen Yu harbored ill will against her for stealing the commander from him. Her tears did not get her the sympathy she wanted as Jun Suanshao told her to shut up. She quickly obeyed out of fear. Jun Suanshao walked over to Shen Yu, as Shen Yu had the energy to insult Rufei. This could only mean that Shen Yu still loved him. When Shen Yu did not answer him, the commander was furious and told Shen Yu to get out of his sight. Shen Yu did not waste a moment, turned his back to Jun Suanshao and left. The sound of steps walking away made Jun Suanshao pause. He looked back to glance at Shen Yu's retreating back. He wanted to stop Shen Yu, as what he said was not what he wanted to say. Then, you should have said it. It was dark, as crows perched ominously on the roof of the pavilion. Shen Yu woke up to ropes wrapped around his seated form. His cloth wrapped around his mouth, preventing him from making any noise. He wondered where he was as he tried to remember what he was doing before ending up here. He was on his way back to Qilin Pavilion. A voice asked if Shen Yu was awake. It was a eunuch. He politely asked Shen Yu's forgiveness for his rudeness, but as the palace is closely guarded, he has no choice but to drug Shen Yu and bring him to this place. He knows he only has a little time. If Shen Yu does not return to Qilin Pavilion, the guards will be alerted to Shen Yu's disappearance. He threatened Shen Yu to not act rashly as he untied him. If not, then both of them will be in trouble. The eunuch cut off the rope binding the mute concubine. Frightened, Shen Yu wondered if the eunuch was working for Emperor Yi. The eunuch told Shen Yu that it was the emperor who ordered him to do this. He politely asked Shen Yu to grant the emperor's request to kill Jun Suanshao. Shen Yu was startled. He can't believe that he would be asked to do such a thing. He asked the man why the emperor would think that he would join their side. The man revealed that Emperor Yi told him that it was Jun Suanshao who killed Shen Yu's mother. That Shen Yu hated Jun Suanshao so much that he would agree to help. Shen Yu pointed out that it was the emperor who ordered her death. While it's true that he hates the commander, he hates the emperor more. As he should, the man imprisoned his mom that had her killed. The eunuch calmly told him that Shen Yu may claim that it was the emperor who ordered his mother's death, but had Jun Suanshao not launched the invasion, the emperor would not have made the order. He planned to send Shen Yu's mother back once he got his hands on the treasures of the Junshan mausoleum. Shen Yu was speechless. The man continued that if the commander really loves Shen Yu, then why would he acquire a new concubine? In just a short time, he drove the point by pointing out that of all the women that Jun Suanshao could acquire as a concubine, he had to marry Rufei, the woman whom Shen Yu replaced as a bride. The commander must be doing this to insult Shen Yu. He would never get away from Jun Suanshao. When the commander secures his position as emperor, he will lock Shen Yu up in the palace to be tortured for the rest of his life. Shen Yu couldn't bear listening to the man, so he covered his ears. Shen Yu bitterly asked himself why everyone treated him as a pawn. Fed up, he wanted to get away. Thinking that he got Shen Yu on their side, the eunuch took Shen Yu's hand and placed a bottle of pills in his hands. He told him that when Shen Yu made up his mind, he could use the pills to get rid of Jun Xuanxiao. He sweetly told Shen Yu that once Jun Xuanxiao is gone, all of Shen Yu's problems will be solved as well. Shen Yu looked at the little jar of pills. Like the devil tempting him, the eunuch's words rang in his ears. An idea forms in his mind. The pills can indeed help him be free. The man told Shen Yu that he must have already made his decision. Shen Yu nodded his assent, but it was not what the old man expected. Shen Yu plans to use the pills to unalive himself. Once he is gone, no one can use him again. In Shen Yu's bedroom, we are greeted by the alluring sight of the concubine Yin arching his back. His breathing was heavy as he endured the painful treatment. A hand reached out as if to caress him, but it extended towards the needle jutting out of his shoulder. Beyond, Shi raised the needle to better see it in the light. He explained that it had only been a month since he treated Shen Yu. It appears that the poison is acting up again and Shen Yu's condition is getting worse. He told Shen Yu that if he wanted to continue living, he did not continue what he was about to say at Shen Yu's indifferent expression. He chastised Shen Yu that if wanted to keep getting hurt like this, Beyond Shi would have to find a grave for Shen in less than 3 months. He even sarcastically asked Shen Yu if there was a location he preferred. Shen Yu regarded the question seriously and told Beyond Shi that he wanted the good doctor to take his bone ash and sprinkle it on Yeming Lake. Another option is to just bury him anywhere but on the palace grounds. He worries that if it were to happen, his soul would never find peace and be in hell. Beyond Shi wondered why Shen Yu was acting like a dying person. Shen Yu handed over a letter to Beyond Shi. The good doctor understood that he wanted him to send it out. He asked if Shen Yu wanted to make up with Commander. He was surprised by Shen Yu bowing to him in gratitude. Shen Yu is acting very weird to Beyond Shi. Beyond Shi took Shen Yu's silence as affirmation. Promising to hand over the letter to the commander, he packed up his things and ordered Shen Yu to stay in bed. As the doctor left, Shen Yu sat on his bed with a heavy heart. Shen Yu stood up and walked to his dresser. He rummaged through its contents. He thinks to himself that the cum has not come to check on him. It's unclear if he meant Jun Xuanxiao or the eunuch who gave him the poison. Shen Yu grabbed the bottle of poison in his hand. He did not have many opportunities, but before anything else, there was a task that he had to finish first. Shen Yu returned to Song Qing's mansion, carrying a jar of wine. He came for a social visit. A servant led him to Song Qing's study. Hong Liyan loomed very close to Song Qing when Shen Yu entered the room. He asked Shen Yu what brought him here to Song Qing's mansion. Shen Yu walked over to them and put down the jar on Song Qing's desk. He told him that he came just to drink and spend time with them. Song Qing found it odd as Shen Yu disliked drinking. Hong Liyan scolded him as Shen Yu rarely comes to see him, but Song Qing is already ruining the fun. He slapped Song Qing's shoulder, and Song Qing did not make a retort. Hong Liyan told Song Qing to order the chef to make them delicious dishes that would go well with the wine. It looks like Hong Liyan already took liberties in managing Song Qing's household as he poached a check from the Zuixian restaurant to cook for Song Qing. Song Qing complained that Hong Liyan was being used to boss him around. Shen Yu found their back-and-forth banter delightful. He smiled watching his friends argue, then looked down as he smiled sadly. With his bowl filled to the brim with wine, Hong Liyan gracefully gulped and guzzled the drink. He let out an exhale of delight as he commented on how great the wine was. Based on the taste, it must have been aged at least 15 years. Shen Yu only coughed and did not answer. Song Qing told Shen Yu to not drink a lot in one go. Shen Yu told them to not mind him and offered them a toast for always helping out. This drink is his way of showing gratitude for Song Qing's care. Without him, Shen Yu would have kicked the bucket a long time ago. Hong Liyan teased him to accept Shen Yu's gratitude and coaxed him to drink more. Hong Liyan has not had good wine since he left Qin Huai Tower as Song Qing always kept him in check. He wanted to have fun tonight and made a deal with Song Qing. He realized that Song Qing might have never drunk in a brothel and offered his services as the most popular actor in Qin Huai Tower. He offered to pour him a drink while he wrapped an arm around Song Qing's neck and drew him closer. Blushing, Song Qing agreed for one more cup to be poured. Delighted, Hong Liyan kept up the act of being a great hostess. He knew that once one cup was drunk, there would be more to follow. Hong Liyan took this opportunity to scoot closer to Song Qing and seductively kissed him on the cheek. Song Qing was surprised and looked at Shen Yu. He is embarrassed as Shen Yu is watching them. Oh, he's just shy. Hong Liyan continued to tease them. He asks Song Qing if he can do whatever he wants to him if no one is looking. Shen Yu put down his bowl and stood up. These two making eyes at each other is his cue to leave. The two continued to banter with each other. Hong Liyan asked Song Qing if he had a thing for him. Caught off guard, Song Qing said yes. Realizing his mistake, he denied it. But Hong Liyan is smart and calls him a liar. He asks Song Qing if he did not care for Hong Liyan, then he should allow him to return to Qin Huai Tower. Shen Yu discreetly left the room. He knows that those two are in love with each other. However, due to their status, they are both holding back their feelings. Bringing them closer is the one thing that he can do for them. He looks up to the sky as he hopes that the wine he brought can get them to admit their feelings for each other and start a relationship. Shen Yu's a great Cupid. If it were to happen, then Shen Yu would have one less thing to worry about when he's gone. This is Shen Yu's way of saying goodbye, and he left them a parting gift. Meanwhile, a figure rode fiercely through the forest and was reined in to stop. Jun Suanxiu jumped off his horse. The letter Bian Shixi handed over to him is an invitation to visit Shen Yu's mother's grave in the western suburbs. Jun Suanxiu looked around suspiciously. It was strange for Shen Yu to call him out to this place. However, there is no doubt that it is Shen Yu's handwriting. Jun Suanxiu cannot mistake it for any other. When he walked over to the grave, he was surprised to find it empty. From the forest surrounding him, a group of masked men came out and gathered around him. One of them angrily threatened his demise, while another reminded the others to catch Jun Suanxiu alive. They attacked Jun Suanxiu while the commander easily defended himself. He brandished his sword at them, swords clashing with each other, and he did his best to defend himself. Their movements are easily recognizable to Jun Suanxiu. It is the Black Feather Army. He realized that they were sent by Xiao Xi in an attempt to ambush him. The emperor he plays dirty. The Black Feather Arm was taught by Jun Suanxiu that there is no way that they can defeat him. He asked them where Shen Yu was. One of them responded that Jun Suanxiu must worry about himself and not worry about his boy toy. He actually said toy boy. He told Jun Suanxiu that it was Shen Yu who lured the commander out, granting them the opportunity to ambush him. Shocked by what he heard, Jun Suanxiu cannot believe it. He stood immobile for a moment as an assassin sneaked from behind to kill him. After his social visit to Song Qing's mansion, Shen Yu returned to Qilin Pavilion. He went through the things he needed to do, sort of like a bucket list. He was able to ask Bian Shixi to dig up his mother's remains and take her back home. He bid farewell to Hong Liyan and Song Qing. And lastly, he left a farewell gift for the commander. Shen Yu went through the list in his head. His left hand was covered with bandages as he caressed a golden box. What happened to his hand? It was not like that when he visited Hong Liyan and Song Qing. Shen Yu's expression turned solemn as his mind recalled the conversation he previously had with Bian Shixi. When the Imperial asked him how Shen Yu became mute, he deduced that witnessing his father's death when Shen Yu was about 3 or 4 years old traumatized him so much that he was not able to talk. Bian Shixi believed that Shen Yu was not born mute and could be cured. However, Shen Yu thinks that Bian Shixi should not waste his time on a dying person. Now that he is able to complete his list, Shen Yu can finally be at ease. Shen Yu's thoughts were interrupted by a maid who relayed that the commander ordered his presence in the palace immediately. Shen Yu nodded and stood up to follow her. For good measure, he brought the jar of pills he received from Emperor Yi's subject. Shen Yu opened the jar and teased a pill out of it with the other hand. With the maid's back turned to him, he swallowed the pill. Shen Yu hid the jar in his sleeve, his mind made up and at peace that it would soon be over. Jun Suanxiu sat in a lounge while waiting for Shen Yu. His clothes and hair are disheveled. His top is unbuttoned, exposing his upper torso. A bandage can be seen wrapped around his abdomen. His appearance surprised Shen Yu, but he made no attempt to ask Jun Suanxiu what happened. Disgruntled, Jun Suanxiu addressed Shen Yu and told him that he went to the western suburbs to meet him. However, a group of assassins ambushed him. While sustaining injuries, Jun Suanxiu was able to fight them off and turn the tables on them. He asked Shen Yu where he was the whole time it happened. Shen Yu realized that the blame was being pinned on him. Emperor Yi's eunuch realized that he could not rely on Shen Yu and sent those assassins to eliminate Zhu Guangxiao. As a result, he is under suspicion of collaborating with Emperor Yi. Shen Yu decided to play up Jun Suanxiu's suspicions. It was Shen Yu's original plan to use Jun Suanxiu's assassination as an excuse to break up with him. Jun Suanshao told Shen Yu that the assassins admitted to conniving with Shen Yu to lure Jun Suanshao and to distract him. However, Jun Suanshao does not believe it. Shen Yu knelt in front of the commander and told him that the commander need not skirt around the topic. Shen Yu admitted to masterminding Jun Suanshao's assassination. Jun Suanshao was stunned. He asked Shen Yu why he did not even try to lie. Had he denied it, Jun Suanshao would have believed him. Heartbroken at Shen Yu's admission, he realized that Shen Yu wouldn't even bother to spare his feelings by lying. Shen Yu reasoned that he no longer wished to lie to anyone, even to himself. He asked Jun Suanshao if he did not find the letter suspicious. Jun Suanshao admitted to having doubts but proceeded to meet up with Shen Yu. Anyway, he believed that Shen Yu wouldn't hurt him. His face contorted in anger. He asked Shen Yu why he betrayed him. Do you really need to ask? Shen Yu did not bat an eye at his anger, as if it is the most obvious thing in the world, which it probably is. Shen Yu told him that it was because he hates Jun Suanshao. He asked Jun Suanshao if he ever stopped to consider Shen Yu's feelings when he whipped him, or when he treated him like dirt, or when he was sent to Emperor Yi, or when he allowed the emperor to steal his mother away so he could fulfill his plans. Shen Yu asked him if he ever considered that Shen Yu was human and capable of being hurt. With all the anguish he could muster in his gestures, he told the commander that he would return all the sufferings and hurt he received, and asked Jun Suanshao what it felt like to be betrayed. Shen Yu's on a roll. He's going right to the jugular. Shen Yu puts down his hands. The words he said, coupled with the assassination attempt, are enough to provoke Jun Suanshao. Shen Yu smiled, satisfied that his plan was working. No one will come to save him when he is killed by Jun Suanshao's own hands. It is the only way for Shen Yu to be truly free. No, don't do it, Shi Yu. Jun Suanshao's knees wobbled at the shock of Shen Yu's admission. He was so shocked that his knees caved in. He stumbled back and slumped on the lounge. He knew that he was the cause of all Shen Yu's suffering. However, he couldn't take Shen Yu's deep-seated anger, nor his satisfied smile. It means that Shen Yu is happy to finally take his revenge on Jun Suanshao. The commander still himself trying to make sense of the events. Shen Yu connived with Emperor Yi's eunuch to lure Jun Suanshao out. He asked Shen Yu if he had died. Would it make him happy, or would he even feel sad? The thought of Jun Suanshao's death made Shen Yu shiver, so he clenched his fist to steady himself. He admitted that as his days were numbered if Jun Suanshao was killed, he would soon follow to accompany him into hell. Jun Suanshao let out a dissatisfied click of the tongue and laughed bitterly, covering his face. He took hold of a cup on top of the coffee table and brought it over to Shen Yu. He leaned in towards his concubine and told him that it was unfortunate that he survived, so he couldn't join Shen Yu in hell. He admitted to letting Shen Yu down, so he took his hatred and aloofness in stride. What he cannot take is his betrayal. The words had an effect on Shen Yu, but he pushed it down. The commander leaned in closer and asked Shen Yu to reveal the entrance of King Chu's mausoleum. He promised that he will spare Shen Yu if he told him. The threat of death hangs in the air should Shen Yu refuse, as he stokes Shen Yu's Adam's apple. Seeing the cup filled with liquid in Jun Suanshao's hand, Shen Yu realized that he would be forced to drink the poisonous wine if he refused. Shen Yu pushed Jun Suanshao back and snatched the cup of poison to Jun Suanshao's surprise. The commander's eyes showed fear as he realized what Shen Yu planned to do. The concubine tipped back his head and drank the poison down. Jun Suanshao was frozen in shock at the sight of Shen Yu willingly drinking the poison. He flicked the cup off Shen Yu's hand. The cup dropped to the carpeted floor, closed to Shen Yu's mystery box. Shen Yu looked down resignedly, boiling with anger. Jun Suanshao realized that Shen Yu would rather poison himself than forgive him. He'd rather die than help Jun Suanshao's plans come to fruition. Shen Yu did not respond, wiping his mouth with the back of his bandaged hand. Shen Yu shook his head in denial. Jun Suanshao asked why Shen Yu would willingly drink the poison if he wanted help. Shen Yu answered that he did it because he had enough. He no longer wants to be manipulated by anyone, not even by Jun Suanshao. The commander was stunned into silence. Shen Yu knew that Jun Suanshao would not let him go. Even if he runs, Jun Suanshao will find him. Only death can keep Shen Yu away from him. Jun Suanshao stood up, asking Shen Yu if he was so desperate to leave him. He asked what happened to his mother's grave. Shen Yu answered that he cremated her and entrusted her ashes to be on Shi. He instructed the doctor that when Shen Yu dies, he will scatter his and her mother's ashes in Yunmeng. He and his mom will stay away from Dajing as far away as possible. Bitterly, Jun Su Xiao realized that Shen Yu had it all planned out. He clenched his fist as he sarcastically praised Shen Yu's foresight. In his rage, Jun Su Xiao grabbed the contents on this desk and threw them down in Shen Yu's direction. As the items hit the ground, Shen Yu clenched his teeth shut, clearly in pain. Jun Su Xiao restated that Shen Yu wanted to die, but he won't allow him. Should Shen Yu die, he will keep his ashes with him, by his side every single day, and chain Shen Yu's soul to him forever. Shen Yu's soul will never know peace. Unable to hold it in anymore, Shen Yu coughed up blood. Alarmed, Jun Su Xiao ran over to Shen Yu as the concubine fell down. Holding Shen Yu in his arms, he told Shen Yu that the drug he handed him was not real poison. So why would he? He was not able to finish his question as Shen Yu explained that he knew this would happen. He took matters into his own hands and took the pill given by the eunuch. Jun Su Xiao tries to comfort Shen Yu, but he is mostly saying it to comfort himself. He never wanted Shen Yu to die. He wiped the blood off Shen Yu's lips and admitted that he only staged the drugs so that he could know what Shen Yu was really thinking. Shen Yu shook his head. He fumbled to his side in search of the box he prepared for him. Once he's given Jun Su Xiao its contents, he can finally rest in peace. Jun Su Xiao wailed in denial. Shen Yu trembled as he handed the box over to Jun Su Xiao. Finally noticing Shen Yu's bandaged hand, Jun Su Xiao demanded to know what Shen Yu did. He claims that he did not want it. With panic in his voice, he asked Shen Yu for the second time what he did. He grabbed Shen Yu's hand, but the concubine snatched his own hand back. Shen Yu placed the box in Jun Su Xiao's hand. With a click, he opened the box, only for his stomach to sink at what he saw. It was a pinky finger. Shen Yu told him that the box contained what Jun Su Xiao wanted. The finger bone of the Chu family's descendant is the key to the Junshan mausoleum. Shen Yu thought it was a perfect deal to exchange his life for the one thing that even the emperor could not have. He asked Jun Su Xiao if he was right. Jun Su Xiao put down the box and told Shen Yu that he'd rather give the world up than allow Shen Yu to die. His world crumbles in front of him as Shen Yu stops responding to him. He held Shen Yu tighter, asking why he was doing this to him. Shen Yu opened his eyes weakly as he contemplated the reason. It could be because he hates him so much that he wants to forget him. It could be because he loves him so much that he would give Jun Su Xiao whatever he wanted. As long as it is his to give, even his life, he will give it. But none of that matters. He wished Jun Su Xiao well and hoped that death would keep them apart for all eternity. Shen Yu's bandaged hand dropped limply to his side. Jun Su Xiao paled as he called out to Shen Yu. Hugging Shen Yu, even denying the fact that this is happening. Jun Su Xiao's lips contorted in anguish. The commander of the North, who slew 1,000 men, who conquered Dajing, cried openly, its concubine in his arms, "I'm not crying, you're crying." In every generation of the royal Chu family, there are many geniuses and heroes. With their talents and skills, they created an era of unparalleled prosperity. However, they consider themselves God's descendants and did not marry outside of their own clan. Even with great doctors minding their health, a heart disease afflicted the Chu clan and many of their descendants lost power. The Chu Empire was overthrown and the surrounding countries invaded them. The Chu family reduced to handing over their discovery and life work to others, and destroyed all medical records and military books. The rest were buried in the Junshan mausoleum and sealed the tomb with iron. They even appointed guards from their own clan to guard it. Although no one has heard of them again, the succeeding empires learned of their history and coveted the books and treasures hidden in the mausoleum. They raided the Chu's family descendants until they almost became extinct. Every emperor wanted to know the tomb's location, however. Nobody expected that the Yunmeng River would change its course and submerge the road. Jun Su Xiao wanted to create a prosperous state similar to the one the Chu clan built. However, when he finally got hold of the key, he lost the most important thing to him. The doctors cowered in front of Jun Su Xiao. They bowed deeply as one of them explained that Shen Yu was no longer breathing. Therefore, there was nothing that they could do. They concluded that Shen Yu was dead, and apologized profusely to the distraught commander. It was at this moment that Jun Su Xiao realized that there are things that once gone will never come back to him. It will not matter how powerful or cunning you are. Jun Su Xiao does not need this old man's apology. He wanted them to save Shen Yu. Otherwise, he would punish them. He kicked one of the doctors to prove his point, beyond Shi Si, who has been silently watching the ordeal, told Jun Su Xiao that being angry at these old men will not save Shen Yu. If he really cared, he would have treated Shen Yu better. He's just acting out of guilt. Jun Su-on-xiao did not reprimand him. Instead, he forcibly grabbed Bi-on Shi-si and asked him if he could save Shen Yu. Jun Su-on-xiao knelt down beside Shen Yu and gently held his pale hand. He apologized over and over again. Unimpressed, Bi-on Shi-si instructed him to help clean Shen Yu's blood, boil the medicine, and have Shen Yu take it. He even told Jun Su-on-xiao to let the old healers go as they are but an eyesore. Jun Su-on-xiao delegated a few tasks to his servants and ordered the geezers to get out of his sight. Jun Su-on-xiao administered the medicine to an unconscious Shen Yu by using his mouth. Excess medicine streamed out on the side of Shen Yu's mouth, but it will have to do. Bi-on Shi-si cautioned him to be careful not to choke Shen Yu as the concubine is unable to swallow on his own. It's a good thing that he found the eunuch's pill in Shen Yu's room, which helped Bi-on Shi-si in creating an antidote for Shen Yu. Jun Su-on-xiao took it upon himself that Shen Yu take the medicine. Hesitantly, he asked the doctor if Shen Yu would survive. The doctor answered that as Shen Yu took a mixture of different poisons, there was no telling of the outcome. He told Jun Su-on-xiao to move over as he needed to apply the cream to Shen Yu's hand. Jun Su-on-xiao offered to do it himself and replace Shen Yu's bandages. It was midnight when Bi-on Shi-si complained that he spent his dragon boat festival in the palace. Jun Su-on-xiao did a double take as he confirmed the date with Bi-on Shi-si. The Dragon Boat Festival is on the 6th of May, which coincidentally is also Shen Yu's birthday. He scolded himself for forgetting such an important date and allowed this to happen. He realized that he was not a good husband. You're just realizing that now. When morning came, Hong Liyan went out of the mansion to watch Song Qing receive an important message. Hong Liyan appears disheveled, his chest open showcasing the passionate night he had. He teased Sing Qing for leaving so early after what they shared. The messenger excused himself and Song Qing looked back at him blushing. Song Qing tried to pretend unbothered and gave the excuse that he was only drunk that night. Unable to look at Hong Liyan's seductive appearance, he told him to put his clothes on. Hong Liyan pressed him further, asking him if he was satisfied with his service, then invited him to enjoy a bath with him if Song Qing was not satisfied. Song Qing chastised him for being such a tease. Hong Liyan pretended to be hurt by Song Qing's indifference when only last night Song Qing called him baby. Song Qing made Hong Liyan pause and forget about his teasing when he relayed the message he received. Shen Yu tried to off himself the night before. Shocked, Hong Liyan quickly moved, intending to go to Shen Yu's place. He wanted to see for himself if Shen Yu was all right. He realized that yesterday's drinking session was his parting gift to them. Shen Yu wanted to give his approval to his and Song Qing's pairing before he left this world. Jun Su-on-xiao never left Shen Yu's side. He even talks to him while he continues to clean his body with a wet cloth. He tells the unconscious Shen Yu that he prepared this long-life noodle, which is a custom in the north to eat on one's birthday. After their marriage, they never celebrated Shen Yu's birthday. Although Jun Su-on-xiao was not able to prepare properly for this day, he's glad that he did not miss it. He brought the bowl of noodles to Shen Yu and tried to make him hold the chopsticks. I think he's going crazy. Shen Yu's limp hands dropped the chopsticks. Jun Su-on-xiao's disheveled state shows the mental stress that he is enduring. I'm starting to feel sorry for him. He told Shen Yu that it's okay. He's probably just tired. He embraced Shen Yu's pale body as he told him that he would eat the noodles in Shen Yu's stead. The commander of the north proceeded to eat the noodles for Shen Yu, hoping that it would grant his concubine a long life. As he ate, tears streamed down his face, savoring the taste of his offering. All he wants is for Shen Yu to wake up. As Jun Su-on-xiao finished the noodles, Shen Yu's finger twitched. He let out a moan, seemingly about to wake up. Jun Su-on-xiao finished the noodles and placed the bowl on the side table. He remembered that he needed to administer acupuncture to Shen Yu while Bi-on Shi-si went out to get more medicine. He went to the desk where he could gather the instruments needed, his back turned to Shen Yu. The sleeping beauty sat up. He placed his hand on his chest, something trying to escape his throat. A word came out, then a sentence. Surprised, he remarks that he is still alive. What in the world? He woke up and he's no longer a mute? It's a miracle. A clutter is heard as Jun Su-on-xiao accidentally drops an object to the floor. He is relieved that Shen Yu woke up. He immediately leaped towards Shen Yu and asked him if it was him who spoke. Shen Yu shied away from him. Jun Su-on-xiao realized that Shen Yu was wary of him. The concubine gave him dirty looks as he withdrew from him. Jun Su-on-xiao tried to make Shen Yu feel at ease by telling him that he wouldn't hurt him again. He asked Shen Yu if he remembered him. Right at this moment, Bian Shixi arrived with Hong Liyan in tow. He was about to ask if Jun Su Anxiao administered the acupuncture, but was excited to see Shen Yu awake. Jun Su Anxiao stepped aside as he ordered Bian Shixi to take a look at Shen Yu. Examining Shen Yu's hand, the doctor diagnosed that the poison was gone. By some stroke of luck, the three drugs must have negated each other. Hong Liyan asked Shen Yu how he felt. Bian Shixi asked Shen Yu if he remembered him and the eye candy who pestered him into tagging along. Offended, Hong Liyan insisted that he should be addressed by name. Shen Yu nodded, affirming that he remembered them. Bian Shixi asked Shen Yu if he remembered the Lord. Shen Yu hesitated. After a moment, he repeated Bian Shixi's words, as if he did not know who he was referring to. In his excitement, Hong Liyan screamed in Bian Shixi's ears that Shen Yu could now talk. Bian Shixi shot back that he's not deaf. Shen Yu told them that he did not know Jun Su Anxiao. After the shock wore off, Jun Su Anxiao grabbed Bian Shixi and asked what was wrong with Shen Yu. While it was a miracle that Shen Yu could peek, why can't he remember Jun Su Anxiao? Bian Shixi explained that he's heard of cases where victims of traumatic events would forget certain experiences or people in order to protect the mind. Jun Su Anxiao refused to believe that Shen Yu could easily forget him. He reached out to him telling Shen Yu that he was his husband, only for Shen Yu to withdraw further from him. The look he's giving Shen Yu is that of a kicked puppy. Bian Shixi told him that he should not push him. His condition may get worse if they are not careful. Jun Su Anxiao asked if they could cure Shen Yu. Desperately, he told Bian Shixi that all materials were at his disposal. If there's anything he needs, Jun Su Anxiao will make sure to procure it for him. Bian Shixi told him that Shen Yu's disability and poison can be cured by medicine, but none of them will fix his memory. Bian Shixi said that if they can help Shen Yu let go of his grudge, he may remember Jun Su Anxiao again. While Hong Liyan fussed over him, Shen Yu took a peek at Jun Su Anxiao. He thinks that it is better if everyone thinks that he lost his memory. Maybe Jun Su Anxiao will get tired of him and leave him be. It was only a matter of time before he lost interest. After several days, Bian Shixi and Hong Liyan accompanied Jun Su Anxiao to the farmlands on the outskirts of the kingdom. The two gossiped about the commander's most recent blunder. Hong Liyan commented that if he had not witnessed it himself, he would never believe that the commander kept his temper in check when he was treated rudely. Bian Shixi only coughed and hushed Hong Liyan. Previously, Jun Su Anxiao approached a group of women. The eldest of the women mistook Jun Su Anxiao as a robber and proceeded to attack him. The mob of angry ladies chased after him and threw all sorts of produce at him to keep him away. Hong Liyan explained that Jun Su Anxiao left his carriage to walk along the road and approach farmers to give him some grains. But instead of grains, he gained the scorn of the village women and was driven out. Bian Shixi commented that it must have been a funny sight. Hong Liyan is impressed that Jun Su Anxiao would go through this extent only for a folk remedy shared by Bian Shixi. He asked if what Bian Shixi told the commander was true. Bian Shixi admitted that the remedy was fake. He told the commander that in order for the remedy to work, he should ask the farmers himself instead of buying the grains from them. He did this as payback for what Jun Su Anxiao did to Shen Yu. The level of pettiness is God level. From outside the carriage, Jun Su Anxiao told Shen Yu that they had arrived at their destination. He remembers what Bian Shixi said about helping Shen Yu let go of his resentment. He remembered that Shen Yu hated being cooped up in the palace and thought that he would feel better if he took him outside. He extended a hand to assist Shen Yu down from the carriage and told him to choose a nice spot to sit on. He even tried to entice Shen Yu with the desserts he ordered the servants to prepare for him. Shen Yu disregarded the offered hand and told him coldly that he did not want desserts. Shen Yu walked away as Jun Su Anxiao stewed at the rejection. Song Qing asked what he would do with the desserts and herbal food. Jun Su Anxiao answered that Song Qing could just keep them. Later, Jun Su Anxiao told Shen Yu that the spot he chose was windward and coaxed him to come to his side. He even told Shen Yu that he saw him staring at the tofu pudding being peddled on the street and bought a bowl for him. He handed the bowl of pudding to Shen Yu and told him to try it after taking his medicine. Again, Shen Yu rebuked his attempts by reasoning that his spot is good. He realized that Jun Su Anxiao had been watching his every move. He added that he was not hungry, but his treacherous stomach chose that very moment to growl out loud. That happened to me once in an interview. So embarrassing. Jun Su Anxiao told Shen Yu to come to him, but Shen Yu declined and insisted that he was not hungry. Shen Yu observed Jun Su-Anshao's frowning face. He has not changed at all. He knows that Jun Su-Anshao has a short temper, especially when things do not go his way. Jun Su-Anshao forced down his anger and smiled. He apologized to Shen Yu for being pushy. He'd excused himself but reminded Shen Yu to take his medicine before leaving. Han Liyan and Bian Shixi gathered around Song Xing to check out what food he brought. Shen Yu watched Jun Su-Anshao sit alone away from the group. Shen Yu let out a relieved sigh as the commander was no longer bothering him. Shen Yu decided to rest against a tree to nap. Jun Su-Anshao took this moment to cover Shen Yu with a blanket and sat beside him. As pink paddles fell on them, he wrapped his hands around his sleeping concubine. He only gets to do this when Shen Yu is asleep. He can't help but wonder why Shen Yu has not yet remembered him when it's been days since he woke up from his coma. He'd rather be hated than be forgotten. He held Shen Yu's hand as he silently promised that he would do anything for him. He hugged him closer, hoping that Shen Yu would remember him soon. After 2 weeks, Shen Yu found himself in a state on the outskirts of Dajing capital. A eunuch bowed to let him know that they had arrived. Shen Yu was surprised that Jun Su-Anshao allowed him to leave the palace so soon after their last trip. Shen Yu happily walked around the state. The servant followed him around, telling him to be careful of the hot weather as the sun was too strong that day. Shen Yu smiled as he told the eunuchs to not mind him. Jun Su-Anshao told him that he would set Shen Yu free a few days ago. Did he really? Shen Yu did not believe him at first, but he did not expect that he would be allowed to leave. He walked over to a bridge overlooking a lake and admired the carp swimming underneath the waters. Shen Yu felt a shadow from behind him. Thinking that it was the eunuch, he continued to watch the carps as Shen Yu assured him that he did not find the weather too hot. The voice from behind asking what he was doing startled Shen Yu. Shen Yu turned suddenly only for his face to smack right onto Jun Su-Anshao's chest. Holding an umbrella above them, Jun Su-Anshao watched as Shen Yu tended to his forehead. He asked Shen Yu if he liked this place. Jun Su-Anshao likes it very much as it is quiet and clean. Shen Yu can't help but wonder what the commander is doing here. Shen Yu noticed that the servants were unloading a lot of items. Shen Yu did not have so much luggage. So what are those? Shen Yu admitted that the estate is beautiful and thanked him for his kindness. Pleased at Shen Yu's response, Jun Su-Anshao grabbed his hand and offered to show him around. Hand in hand, the commander and the concubine took a leisurely walk together. When they entered the mansion, Jun Su-Anshao put the umbrella against a large window. He opened a window and showed Shen Yu a piece of land that they could reclaim to start a little farm. They could plant vegetables and flowers that will bloom in different seasons, so the view will be beautiful year-round. Shen Yu stared absent-mindedly out the window. Jun Su-Anshao told Shen Yu that he would live here with him. He held Shen Yu's hand as he told him that he plans to keep his promise to let Shen Yu free. As he knows that Shen Yu does not like being cooped up in the palace, he brought him here and will not force him to do anything, but he shall be by Shen Yu's side. That's not really what setting someone free meant. You just gave him a longer leash. Shen Yu took back his hand when he realized that Jun Su-Anshao had no intention of actually letting him go. Shen Yu directed his attention at a servant to instruct him to place his books near the bed. Jun Su-Anshao's hope rose when Shen Yu did not make further protests. He wonders if Shen Yu is becoming more accepting of him. He offered his help to Shen Yu in putting away his books. Shen Yu stopped him and asked if Jun Su-Anshao did not think that the estate was cramped, mistaking that Shen Yu found the place too small for them. Jun Su-Anshao offered to find a bigger place for them. Shen Yu cut him mid-sentence and explained that as Jun Su-Anshao is a powerful figure who will soon be emperor, he must be mindful of his position. He should be in the imperial palace to take care of important matters instead of spending his time with a mere plaything like Shen Yu. What will people think of Shen Yu? He might as well end up miserably like the beloved boys of the previous emperors. Shen Yu emphasized that he wanted to live independently so that he would not end up like those boys. Jun Su-Anshao was stunned, but his anger boiled over. He understood that Shen Yu did not want to live with him. Shen Yu pacified him, but nonchalantly said that he was only joking. As Jun Su-Anshao found this place for them, he has no right to make him leave. Frustrated at Shen Yu's joke, Jun Su-Anshao turned to leave, as he did have other things to tend to. He told Shen Yu to ask the caretaker should he needed anything. Shen Yu bid him a farewell. The commander of the north wanted to have Shen Yu close, but he did not know what to do with the joke Shen Yu made. When Jun Su-Anshao left, Shen Yu could finally stop the act. He realized that Jun Su-Anshao had not yet gotten tired of him, as he tried to formulate a plan. He decided that he must carefully search the area for when he had the chance to escape. The commander of the North returned to the palace only to be swamped by troublesome estate affairs. He has yet to claim the throne, nor change the name of the dynasty. His current focus is on covertly destroying the previous emperor's connections. However, the neighboring counties are preparing for war. The Huns in the north allied themselves with the rising kingdom of Zhou. With the political estate of Dajing in chaos, the Huns and Zhou are greedily eyeing Dajing. Unexpectedly, the state counselor who made Zhou prosperous came to visit the Dajing capital and repeatedly requested an audience with Jun Suangshao. A beautiful, intelligent-looking man stood before Jun Suangshao. He complimented Jun Suangshao for his feats. Jun Suangshao told him to skip the pleasantries and go straight to the point. The man admitted that he came here for personal reasons. He wanted to receive 5,000 kilograms of silver and 1,000 baskets of grains. Jun Suangshao observed the man, particularly on the man's hand. The man has an extra knuckle on his pinky finger. We know what that means. In exchange for the rewards, the man promised to persuade the king of Zhou not to attack the Dajing Empire. The man realized where Jun Suangshao's eyes were. He withdrew his extended hand and acknowledged that Jun Suangshao had seen through him. He introduced himself as Chu Ling. Mu Ya is the name he uses when in Zhou. Imposingly, Jun Suangshao asked him what he wanted. Chu Ling explained that he was sent by the elders of the Chu family to find one of their relatives, who was under Jun Suangshao's control. They were able to trace the clues when Emperor Yi tried to find the Junshan mausoleum. As their clan is small, they value each member of their family and wish to take back their missing relative. With a threatening aura, Jun Suangshao stood up. He walked down the steps leading to the throne and stood in front of Chu Ling menacingly. He understood that Chu Ling wanted to take Shen Yu away. The two stood at a standstill as they gauged each other. Returning from the palace, Jun Suangshao contemplates whether he should allow Shen Yu to meet his family or not. He does not want Shen Yu to be involved with the Chu clan, as it was his identity as a Chu descendant that brought him suffering. With the emergence of a Chu family in the mix, he must decide. He wonders how Shen Yu will react. He tapped his finger agitatedly as he pondered if Shen Yu would be happy or if he would leave him. The coachman announces that they have arrived at the estate he chose for Shen Yu. The light streaming from the house made him realize that he found his home. Jun Suangshao's parents passed away when he was young. The endless battlefield is what he was used to. His past marriages did not give him a sense of belongingness. But when Shen Yu came into his life, his heart was filled with love. He now found a place where he belonged, and he found his answer. He wanted to make Shen Yu happy. In order to do so, he must set aside his own desires. You're heading in the right direction, finally. The door creaked when he entered. The occupant of the room is bathing himself. The beautiful sight of a naked Shen Yu is enticing to Jun Suangshao. He reached out to his beloved, calling his name. But a cascade of hot water was thrown at him. Shen Yu laughed out loud at Jun Suangshao's appearance. He mistook him for a pervert. To pacify him, he tilted his head, seductively asking him if he came to help him scrub his back. However, he does not think that they are familiar enough to do such a thing. Dripping with bath water, Jun Suangshao leaned down on Shen Yu. Shen Yu realized that he was in trouble. This kind of treatment would surely anger Jun Suangshao. However, if he keeps quiet about what he feels, the other man will only get pushy. Jun Suangshao called out to him and proceeded to hug him. He was delighted to see Shen Yu finally smile at him. Shen Yu's smile gave him hope even if Shen Yu's memories were not yet recovered. Shen Yu was surprised that the imposing man was not angry. Unable to resist Shen Yu's charms, Jun Suangshao can't help himself by pressing Shen Yu closer. Shen Yu pushed him away, but the commander held his hand. He told Shen Yu that he had good news for him. He relayed that a member of the Chu family was in the capital and wanted to see Shen Yu. After several days, Songqing is in his study. He worries that today is the day that Jun Suangshao allowed Chu Ling to meet Shen Yu. As he stood up, he knocked over a stack of books, causing them to crash to the carpeted floor. A picture slipped out from one of the books. It is a serene picture of two boys happily sitting on a bench together. One of them wore a purple robe with his sleeves tied back, exposing a star-shaped birthmark on his shoulder. The boy's name is Li Yan. From behind, the actor from the Qinhu Eye Tower, Hong Li Yan approached him and asked what he was looking at. His eyes widened as he accused Songqing of preying on children. Songqing chastised him for entering the room without knocking, but he stopped when Hong Li Yan's nails scratched the picture. Songqing got angry and Hong Li Yan blamed the piece of paper for being too fragile. He even blamed Songqing for not hiding it somewhere safe. He tried to tell him that the picture can be easily restored if he wanted it fixed. In his rage, Song Qing was about to smack Lian, but he stopped himself. The proud Hong Liyan closed his eyes in fear. Song Qing smashed his hands on the desk and shouted at Hong Lina to get out. Hong Liyan thanked him for his mercy and promised not to bother Song Qing again. Song Qing announced the presence of Chu Ling. Jun Su Anxiao introduced him to Shen Yu, who was giddy with joy. Jun Su Anxiao can't help but be jealous and annoyed. Chu Ling addressed Shen Yu with a smile. Jun Su Anxiao seethed as he observed Chu Ling's clothes. He believes that Chu Ling deliberately wore those fine clothes to impress Shen Yu. Chu Ling told Shen Yu that they are cousins by the third degree. Shen Yu's mom is a cousin of Chu Ling's father. Shen Yu is happy to call someone his brother. He can't believe that he still has family and that the Lord did not lie to him. He glanced at Jun Su Anxiao only to see him glaring at Chu Ling in jealousy. Chu Ling patted Shen Yu's head as he complimented his good looks. He told Shen Yu that even among the Chu family, Shen Yu's face is a rare beauty and that he has not met anyone more handsome than Shen Yu. Jun Su Anxiao commented that Chu Ling is a flatterer. To him, there's no doubt that Shen Yu is tremendously beautiful. His jealous aura worries Shen Yu and Chu Ling. Completely ignoring him, Shen Yu invited Chu Ling to have a seat, to which the other happily obliged. When tea was served and the newly united cousins sat facing each other, Jun Su Anxiao sat very close to Shen Yu even though there were other seats available, which Shen Yu pointed out. He declined as he liked sitting close to Shen Yu. He looks like a rabid dog, ready to bite anyone who steals his bone. Chu Ling complimented Shen Yu's home for its quietness and secludedness. Jun Su Anxiao continued to stare at him. In his mind, it was he who chose this place for Shen Yu, and that he would not let this newcomer steal his concubine. Jun Su Anxiao did not hide his displeasure at allowing this guy to visit. He warned him to remember his place and to not attempt to do anything more. He pointed out that he is only allowing Chu Ling to come here because he does not want to hide anything from Shen Yu. Shen Yu unconsciously moves away, embarrassed at Jun Su Anxiao's manners. Chu Ling acknowledged the threat and returned his attention to Shen Yu. He asked about his parents or if he had any siblings or other family members so he could meet them. Shen Yu shook his head and sadly told him that his parents passed away and that he had no other family. Chu Ling looked at Shen Yu with sympathy. Meanwhile, Jun Su Anxiao munched on some peanuts, loudly disrupting any attempts of Chu Ling to have a proper conversation with Shen Yu. Bravely, Chu Ling politely asked if he could have a moment with Shen Yu in private. He even told Jun Su Anxiao to stay near the door if he was worried. Insulted at being told what to do in his own home, Jun Su Anxiao smashed his hand on the table, gearing for a fight. Later that night, Hong Liyan entered his suspicious-looking establishment. He told the tattooist that the tattoo he got was ugly and needed to have it altered or removed. The tattooist took one look and immediately recognized it as a birthmark. He got angry at Hong Liyan for wasting his time but quickly changed his tune upon receiving a tale of silver. Hong Liyan insisted that it was a tattoo. The tattooist agreed to call the birthmark his ugly work and to tattoo it so that the original shape could be hidden. He warned Hong Liyan that it may scar him. Hong Liyan does not mind the scars, for it is better than the birthmark that he does not want anyone to see. So, does this mean he's the boy in the picture? Jun Su Anxiao stood up angrily, while Chu Ling sat calmly in his seat unfazed. The commander decided to hold down his anger and asked Shen Yu if he wanted to talk privately with Chu Ling. Otherwise, he would stay. Shen Yu quickly agreed to a private talk with his newfound brother. Jun Su Anxiao was speechless as he stared down Shen Yu. Shen Yu avoided his gaze. It is better to have him wait outside as he has been unpleasant to Chu Ling the whole time. Like a raging bull, he has been noisy, preventing them from talking meaningfully. Jun Su Anxiao reluctantly agreed and told Shen Yu to call him if he wanted anything. He left the room, but not before giving Chu Ling a warning glance. Why do I find his antics funny? Shen Yu let out a relieved sigh. He did not notice that Chu Ling moved his chair next to him. Chu Ling grabbed his hand to Shen Yu's surprise. He asked Chu Ling what he is doing. The older man looked at him with a sad expression, almost as if he was about to cry. Chu Ling asked if it was Jun Su Anxiao who cut off Shen Yu's pinky. He also learned that Shen Yu lost part of his memory. Shen Yu withdrew his hand and admitted that he cut it off himself. He also confessed that there was nothing wrong with his memory. Chu Ling saw this as Shen Yu's attempt at shielding Jun Su Anxiao. When he learned that Jun Su Anxiao made Shen Yu his side concubine, he thought that he planned to protect him. But clearly, he hurt Shen Yu just to get hold of the mausoleum of King Chu. The emperors of Dajing have always wanted the relics of the Chu family and hunted down the Chu people mercilessly. Only a few of them survived the ordeal by changing their names and living in seclusion. In order to continue the family line, they secretly look for other living Chu descendants and invite them to come to live with them. But those descendants have already married into other families, and there are only 3 of them that are pure-blooded. Luckily, he found Shen Yu. Shen Yu wiped his tears. Chu Ling offered to take Shen Yu back with him. Shen Yu shook his head. He asked Shen Yu if he did not want to meet his other family members. If Shen Yu is worried about Jun Xuan Xiao, he promises to talk with him. After all, Shen Yu is also a descendant of the royal Chu family. A loud bang is heard as the door is roughly opened. Jun Xuan Xiao entered the room menacingly. He grabbed Shen Yu by the arm and caged him in his embrace. Had he known that Chu Ling wanted to trick Shen Yu and take him away, he would have him killed. Chu Ling was shocked at the accusation. He explained that he only wanted to take Shen Yu to reunite with his family and had no intentions of tricking him. Internally, Chu Ling figured out that Shen Yu did not want to go because he knew how Jun Xuan Xiao would react. Anyone who takes him away from Jun Xuan Xiao will meet a tragic end. Jun Xuan Xiao held tighter to Shen Yu. Stealing Shen Yu away from his is the most despicable act. He asked Chu Ling if he even asked for his permission. Chu Ling countered that Jun Xuan Xiao had many concubines in the past and would have more in the future, so why would he hold Shen Yu back? Jun Xuan Xiao shot back that Shen Yu is different because he loves him. He said it. Chu Ling laughed at him as he found it hard to believe. If Jun Xuan Xiao loves Shen Yu, then why did he not save his mother? Why does Shen Yu have many wounds? Why is Shen Yu's finger cut off? And why is he missing part of his memory? Chu Ling pushed further by pointing out that as Shen Yu is male, he won't be able to bear Jun Xuan Xiao's children. Jun Xuan Xiao knows all this as he looks down in guilt. Chu Ling asked if he could really love Shen Yu in spite of all that. Can he really give Shen Yu the honor of being his formal spouse? Each word Chu Ling uttered is like a dagger to Jun Xuan Xiao's heart, but he cannot deny any of them. It was he who caused all of Shen Yu's misery. He might feel guilty now, but the pain he caused Shen Yu will never go away, and his wounds are a testament to Jun Xuan Xiao's cruelty. Chu Ling offered that if Jun Xuan Xiao is only keeping Shen Yu for pleasure, he can find as many beautiful men and women for Jun Xuan Xiao. Jun Xuan Xiao clenched his teeth and admitted that he had done many unforgivable things. At this, Shen Yu's interest was piqued. Jun Xuan Xiao told Chu Ling to back off as the matter was between him and Shen Yu. He promised to make up for Shen Yu for all the bad things he did and will not hurt him again. He looked down at Shen Yu and announced that Shen Yu would not stay as his side concubine. Chu Ling was shocked as he did not expect this turn of events. Jun Xuan Xiao lovingly had Shen Yu's face. While he is commander of the North, Shen Yu is his formal spouse. When he becomes emperor, Shen Yu will be his only emperor consort.